We are connecting behind the groove, and I'm so pleased to have a couple of favorite artists here, and of course, my Tina Abbaszadeh, my Tina Abbaszadeh.
That's right. I like that. I'm completely good with that introduction.
So
I
she
want
belongs
to
to
be
the
more.
yeah, you belong to the San Francisco Bay Area, and I love your way with understanding Bay Area music, musicians, music, and everything that's behind the groove. And you love to connect artists. She's really um, has her your pulse on the musicians in the United States, especially the San Francisco Bay Area. And then we have, I have to say, Tina, I'd like you to meet Iris Camaa from Austria. She's
Hello.
one of my dear friends and a prolific singer, songwriter, composer, artist, photographer, on and on and on. And Greg Esparza, Tina says Greg Esparza. I'm telling everybody he's my brother. You don't know that. He does have an uncanny resemblance to the men in my family. And what I really love about your music, because I've just met Greg this year, we met earlier this year, and he's an emotional musician. He has this beautiful voice, but a very emotional singer, I have to say, Greg, and I think that's really important. And he has a direct connect to both LA and what's happening in the world now, and you have some unique perspectives that are really important to share, both from your experience and through your music that you share. People really, really connect with you. I'm Elizabeth, connecting behind the groove, and Tina from Tina Time. You're here to take it from here, Tina.
It's Tina time, Tina, Tina. Abbaszadeh, 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 Abbaszadeh. It's Tina time, Tina, Tina. Abbaszadeh, 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 Abbaszadeh.
Elizabeth, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for Behind the Groove and everything that you do, and for you driving this process to have these conversations, especially kind of, with Iris being in Vienna, and Greg, you're in LA. Is that right?
Yeah, Echo Park area.
Nice. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. Of course, I've heard so much about both of you from Elizabeth. And, Elizabeth has so much passion that when she speaks about people, you really feel like you get to know them, And I think so highly of her that anytime she thinks highly of somebody, I feel like, okay, well, I'm good with that person as well. So it's nice to meet both of you.
Likewise.
Of course, I have a lot of questions for both of you. Like Elizabeth said, I'm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. Greg, I feel like you and I have a lot of mutual friends. I don't know how often you get up here, but I feel like, we probably would have had the opportunity to meet, because many of the bands that you're friends with and involved with are also friends of mine.
Possibly. Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah. And then Iris, Elizabeth has been talking to me about you probably from the first time she and I started chatting, for the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm overwhelmed at all of the things that you do. I feel a little bit of a kindred spirit with you as well, although I'm not a vocalist and I don't speak, I think, like 5 languages you speak. But I think that as artists, we always try to express ourselves in different ways. I'm a fan of the music. And I do music photography, more performance based. I looked at some of your photography online, and it's absolutely stunning. I mean, it's a whole different type of photography, fine art, the fashion shoots and everything. Plus, the clothes that you make and design, the masks. In fact, I want one of those masks, so I'm going to be asking you about your websites. I'm going to be asking about your websites. I want to be wearing one of Iris Camaa's masks, custom designed. And Greg, I know that you've been through quite a lot. I mean, and without getting too much, I mean, obviously we're all in the middle of this scenario here, right? Worldwide, between the pandemic, between a lot of the, civil rights activism that's going on in the world right now, which is so badly needed. And then going through COVID and recovering at home as you did. I mean, it's a lot. you know. We've all been trying to stay at home and avoid it, and here you are, and you had it, you know. So,
Yeah.
and it's hard to understand how we're all going to make it work. But I'm hopeful, and even though, you know, for me as a consumer, I mean, I was going out to at least 3 live music events per week
Yeah.
before all of this. I mean, that's, you know, the way I roll. So,
Thank you for supporting the station.
Oh,
Anyway.
oh, yeah. For me, because music is to me what it is, I feel like it keeps me healthy in a way. It helps to, you know, increase my immune system, because it brings me so much joy and so much love within the community, and just to feel those vibrations, I feel like that does keep me healthy in a way, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, just to give, you know, the audience that are also going to be meeting some of you for the first time. Iris, I know, so has most of your career been based in Vienna, but you do a lot of traveling? Because I know you've come to LA, you've been to the US, obviously. I know you've won awards here and done performances and all kinds of other good things. So, but tell me a little bit, you know, briefly about how this all started for you.
Well, actually, I used to be a dancer before. It happened by accident. I became a musician. I mean, I loved to sing when I was a child, but I never, you know, really thought about it. And then when I stopped dancing, and I did hip hop, and we did opening acts for Michael Jackson, for example, in Vienna, huge stages. But then I stopped dancing, and then by accident, I was in Brazil, and then they invited me to be at the samba school, you know, like batucada, these typical samba schools, and started playing percussion there. And as I used to be a dancer before. When I came back to Austria, after 4 months already, they invited me on stage. So I had stage presence because from the dance, but
Right.
I wasn't a musician yet, but it was so much fun. And they said, you're talented, you should have to go for it. And so I started playing percussion. And then I played with a lot of Brazilian people, because this was the community based in Vienna. And after a while, then there came soul projects and then cover tune things and so. And then and another time by accident, a guitarist from Tangerine Dream. This is, I don't know if you know this name, Tangerine Dream used to be very big in
absolutely
America.
do know Tangerine Dream.
Yeah.
And yes, for many, many, many years. So
Yeah, they invited me to become their percussionist, because the guy that played drums before, he passed away 2 years before. And the guitarist told them that I probably would work with that this would match. Yeah. So they invited me over. I didn't even know where I was going. This was the weirdest thing ever. I had no idea. I thought it was some kind of a DJ thing. The guy said, just go there and play something. So I brought my little congas and started playing. And the guy didn't even look at me. He was sitting with a back to me and listened just an hour. Then he turned around. He said, can you play the drums? And he gave me a drum set, and I played it as a percussionist, not as a drummer, because I'd never been a drummer. And then, yeah, he hired me for the first gig, which was in London at Shepherd's Bush Empire. And from that time on, we've been on tour for 14 years. And we played locations like the Royal Albert Hall, and we played at the Times Square, the UCLA Hall, and we've been to all those places because they were very big in the States. And also we've been in LA several times. And beside that, developing this type of professional music career, I started with my own albums, and this was more based in Cuba. So I was invited to the International Jazz Festival various times, and I played with some people of my band from Austria that we flew there, and then the rest were Cubans. So we have an intercultural exchange.
Nice.
And also sometimes I played in New York, because one of my drummers was there in New York, and so he invited people from that are very famous now, from Snarky Puppy. You had the honor to play with this guy, and later on they also recorded on my albums some of these musicians. So It's just like it was a way. You start somehow, and then it leads you to a place if you follow the path.
And you're a songwriter as well, correct?
Yeah. I write all my music and my lyrics and the melodies. And the last album I did by myself, all the composings. But before I had really great musicians, Cuban musicians, working with me, like Ivan Ruiz Machado or Ariel Ramirez. And I have a Brazilian pianist and a bass player from Switzerland and a Persian drummer. So yeah, we have built our own sound. It's typically Iris Camaa music. Probably in America, you could say something like a mixture of contemporary music with the Latin and jazz feeling, or something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know. This is the way that. So I've made 7 albums in the last years. With own music, as with my own compositions.
And you are you participate with other bands as well, aside from Tangerine Dream, like when you're home doing other projects. And you're also you do work with Hubert Tubbs, which is Elizabeth's husband, right? And of course, part of my connection with Elizabeth and Hubert is that I relatively close with Tower of Power.
Yeah.
And love those guys, and I do a lot of photography for them, and things like that. So how did you meet Elizabeth and Hubert?
I played in a band, I think it was called Soul What? And Hubert was the lead singer, and I played percussion and did some backing vocals there. And it was like this, once we met, there was a connection, and we had the same taste for music and the same passion. And when we started to do the first album, which was in 2003, we made Chameleon. This is the title of the album. He sang on that, and he did some backing vocals supporting me, and because he liked the music and he liked the songs. And then he had his own band project and invited me over to play percussion and did some backing vocals, and then we started writing some duets. And also with Ivan, we recorded some songs. This was still in a home recording studio, which was really weird, because I think we have been hiding behind a door with something covered over our head. We were there for 2 hours, sweating like it was crazy. But it came out so true. It was honest music. And from that time on, we always had been in projects, either in his or he in mine, or in other projects of other people. Just because the music scene is not so big in Vienna. And then so you always meet again. And he has an amazing voice and so much heart and so much love for music. Yes. It's such an honor. And I think also one day he gave me a class as a master class. He gave me some advice, and so we exchange our experience, our vocal techniques, and what we feel when we write lyrics. And it's really interesting, and he's very inspiring for me. And I hope my English is okay. I know I do.
Oh my God. It may be a second or third or fourth or fifth language for you, but believe me, you do better than a lot of people. No worries.
And I remember that we sat together, Elizabeth and him, and I was, sometimes you get tired of the music business. And I said, well, I think I won't make any more albums. And he said, oh, she's so funny. She's trying to get divorced from the music. And so, of course, you go back.
But it never really goes away, right? I've talked to so many musicians who at certain times in their life have just put a pause on things for whatever reason, maybe just feeling discouraged, or maybe it's like having writer's block, or just, not wanting to perform. And then all of a sudden talking about, picking up a guitar or starting to do this or that again and getting re-inspired. So Greg, I know you have a lot of connections with Malo, and have you ever performed with, or I know you've seen Momotombo, which are a lot of the people from Malo?
Yeah, definitely. When we meet up, it's in a concert called the Latin Legends. So Malo, it's El Chicano, it's Tierra, and it's the Midnighters. Sometimes we get Lighter Shade of Brown in the mix as well. But, I'm, as funny as it is, I'm very non-traditional when it comes to being a music person. My path into this world is completely a little off the charts. I mean, I'm a music lover, a big fan of music. That's how my family grew up. And my dad would play the guitar and sing, you know. And so my entire life, my entire approach was the oral tradition, just listening and then singing along. And along the way, I started writing my own lyrics. So, and writing my own songs. And I've done some stuff like that where I'm not, I think people would expect that I'm in the studio all the time, recording all the time, writing all the time. And it's not the case. I wish it was. But for me, having the opportunity to become the lead singer for the Midnighters was a huge event in my life, because I had dreamt of being their singer since I was 16, and I got the opportunity in my early 30s, you know. So there's a big gap there of where half my life I'm dreaming about it. I'm singing a cappella on Whittier Boulevard or wherever Hollywood club I'm coming back to the east side on. I stop and get a burger at Tommy's and, you know, find some people eating, and I just walk up and start singing love songs, you know. But the thing is, and the reason I say all that is that, yeah, I know a lot of musicians, but I don't know everybody.
Right,
and,
of course not.
You know, and it's still, though, you know, for me, it was really a big dream of, I want to build a time machine. I want to go back in time. I want to kick it with the Midnighters, and I want to meet Malo and all them. And so, you know.
Please give the audience like a recap of the Midnighters and who they are and what they represent to, you know, to that community.
So the Midnighters, they've been around since the early 1960s. They were first, I would say, put on the map for their tune Whittier Boulevard. So it's an instrumental, and it was just a really rousing rock tune, almost surf rock. People would describe it as surf rock, but it brought a lot of pride to the community, in particular in East LA on the east side, because Whittier Boulevard was the hot cruising spot, you know. Along the way, the Midnighters, they have an incredible catalog of originals and just great renditions of the popular covers of their day. I would say that they have a good balance of rock and roll and a good balance of beautiful, just soulful ballads, really great ballads. That's All, To Be With You, Giving Up on Love, It'll Never Be Over For Me. And then you got rock and roll stuff like their version of Gloria, or Looking Out a Window, Never Knew I Had It So Bad. I Found a Peanut is like this wacky, zany tune that it's almost punk rock. Love Special Delivery. I mean, so the list goes on. I would say they have over maybe they got about 60, 65 songs in their catalog. And so I just enjoy it. You know, I think I had taught myself pretty close to about 50 other songs that I discovered in my own way through those years. And, but yeah, the Midnighters, Mexican-American, or American rock and roll band, however people see them, you know, to me, they're a Chicano legendary band, but they're from East LA. They're the East LA guys. And, you know, we're always putting up a show. They're still active and putting up a great show with these other legends, you know, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's how Tower of Power, and also bringing in new blood, right? So you came in as a younger singer with that, and the fact that there's still a demand and appreciation for the music, and then bringing in new audiences. You know, I'm always amazed. I've always thought that bands like, you know, Tower of Power and Santana, Lydia Pence, and Cold Blood, things that came out of San Francisco, things that the Midnighters. I mean, they have probably the most devoted fan base of anyone I can think of, you know, and it really says a lot when you see bands that come and go. Tangerine Dream too, right? I remember. I mean, how long has Tangerine Dream been a band?
40 years.
Yeah. How many?
40.
40. Yeah, that makes sense. I would have expected.
I performed with them 14 years, and then when I went, he passed away in 2015, I think. So now they're playing in a trio, as in a smaller formation. But before they used to be nominated for Grammys 7 times. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting in doing some things. I saw that there had been some awards with, so they did some music for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, we did that in New York. This was in, I posted it. I think I posted it today on Facebook, the video, because this was an amazing thing. We made made some film music for this, you know, and we did that film music live in a church in New York City with the whole band.
Wow.
The whole orchestra with all of these people.
You did music in a church for
this
Grand Theft Auto.
The weird thing is they had to take out all the brutal scenes from that game, and you know that it was a very special venue for that type of presentation. Yeah, but it was a huge orchestra playing you with everything like strings and percussion, you know, DJs and three drum sets.
Wow.
And brass section and everything. It was amazing. It's on Facebook. You can look it up. It's the whole documentation about how it was made. Yeah.
You know, if you have the emotion and the appreciation for, you know, like you guys do, you guys are both so talented, you know, and Iris, I don't know if you know the term overachiever, but I think that you should. But yeah, I think being able to express ourselves, you know, in every way possible is what's important, especially in times like these.
I'm happy, and I'm very, very nosy about new songs. There are some positive, cool grooves and danceable things, summer tunes, and why not to bring this to the audience, to make
they were
someone
dancing in the streets of Oakland, you know, night before last, you know, and trying to keep the message going and keep the message light and keep the unity, you know. And I think here again, that's where music comes in, right? We're listening to music, we're dancing together, we're showing our unity together. I love music. It's the only time you can, I feel, where you can walk into a place where you're not worried about the politics or the race or the religion or anything else of anybody else, but you're all moving to the same groove, to the vibe, to the same vibrations. And that's where my heart lives. So it's been so nice talking to both of you. I know that you guys are going to sing a little something for us, right?
So, all right, let me get to the song. It's called Black Love, Brown Pride. Hopefully I get it right. I'm playing with it. Here we go. If you're ashamed of burning buildings, be more ashamed of public lynchings. If you're ashamed of broken windows, be more ashamed of all the broken lives. In white supremacy, there is no decency. Just a way of being, a hatred for your life. Don't forget what this is all about. And I say, don't forget what this is all about. It's white supremacy, police brutality. It's a way of being, a hatred for your lives. If you're ashamed of the graffiti, don't forget what brought us here today. Hey everybody, there's a fire over here, but they just keep on walking by. Don't dismiss the actions of a peaceful protest. There's a burning house crying here for you. Oh, don't forget what this is all about. Black love, brown pride. I say, don't forget what this is all about. In your complacency, there's no humanity. Too many people turn a blinded eye. Don't forget what this is all about. I say, don't forget what this is all about. If you're ashamed of burning buildings, be more ashamed. Be more ashamed. Be more ashamed. Oh, the humanity. The humanity. Be more ashamed of all the public lynchings.
Yay.
Yeah, that is a powerful. I have chills. I mean, because it's such a powerful message, and it speaks to so much of what we're going on here. Especially, I'm not sure. I've seen some imagery from Europe and things like that in support of what's going on, and but this is exactly what we're experiencing here, and that same frustration about if you're more upset about that than you are about what's happening to the people, you know.
Right.
None of it matters unless the people matter. And Iris, I know you're going to sing for us.
Yeah. I will sing a song of my album Intimate Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's I like positive vibes. Let's share some positive vibes together if you want.
Excellent.
The song is called Joy, because I think also if we have bad times and if we have everything is hard at the moment and we don't understand certain things and we are not so close to the ones we love, we still I try to stay with good vibes. I try to keep up the spirit and be positive, and that's what I'd like to share with you guys.
All right. Yeah.
Excellent.
The song is called Joy. Okay. I feel joy when you look into my eyes. Joy when you hold my hands so tightly. Joy when you whisper words so sweet, and all I wish is to have you here beside me. Joy, 'cause I'm very shy of you. Joy, just kissing me over and over. Joy, oh, I'm very proud of you. And we're crying 'cause we feel so good together. Joy forever, joy forever. When you touch me, I wanna shout out loud. Joy forever, joy forever. Can you hold me? Oh,
Oh, I love it. That's great.
Bravo. I love it too. That was awesome. What a great way to end on a joyful note.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, it was so nice to meet you both. I hope, I still have a dream that maybe someday I'll come to Vienna and come visit Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And, get to meet you. And Greg, I'm hoping, at some point, maybe if you're ever in Northern California, it would be great to me. I'd love to see you both perform live. I mean, that's now my fantasy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I will stay in touch with everybody.
You guys hit on some really good subjects. Thank you so much. All three of you, I think when we talk about the angst and the needing to talk, we also really appreciate that the outlet of music. Because one thing I get from everything, whether it's going to completely change, some things have changed. And with change comes, there's a bit of identity crisis, and we don't know what that looks like yet. But with change, you're letting go of something. So when you let go of something, even if it's a negative something that's part of our identity, we need to say goodbye to it. We need that release of emotions. And I think that will come up so many ways. And how important the three of you are is sharing with people that we do have an outlet for that. Sharon, you don't realize how important that you have, the gifts that you have with the world here, to go ahead and release some of the emotion. Your songs do that. We have to have the conversations, and we have to have the release of emotions to let that really permeate into a reality of change. And so thank you. You did such a great job. Thank you, beautiful.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to meet you
Greg.
all.
You
Oh,
guys
you are my
take
brother.
care.
Yeah, you are my brother. I'm telling everybody. I'm divorcing my brother. It's my Tina, my Iris, and now you're my Greg, my brother.
There you go. Happy to be part of the family.
Communication for all nations. You can be bigger than you are. We bring people together. We make the whole world better. No matter who you are. Spread the word, say it online. Where you can get on anytime.